Jonesy and Amanda.
Jam Nation.
Well, our Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has made his way to Washington to discuss a range of issues with President Biden, including the rising tensions in the Middle East. Channel 7 News political editor Mark Riley is currently with the PM. Hello, Mark.
G'day, Amanda.
Hello. Now, President Biden has a lot on his plate at the moment. Has this trip been in the works for a while, and was it always going to happen? Has there been problems?
Look, it has been in the works for a while, and look, it's essentially Joe Biden saying sorry to Anthony Albanese for cancelling his trip to Australia in May for what was to be the Quad meeting. That's the quadrilateral discussions between the US, Australia, India and Japan. And Joe Biden had to cancel that because he had a minor problem with the $1 trillion debt ceiling issue in the Congress, and he had to attend to that. So he sort of brought this forward. It was very early in the Prime Ministership for an official visit, but of course the timing's awkward because of what else is happening in the world, and particularly in the Middle East. To be clinking glasses in the Rose Garden talking about how wonderful the bilateral relationship at a time like this is, just it's very delicate balance that they've got to strike. And we've just come from a press conference with the Prime Minister. I bumped into a journalist from the New York Times who told me that the president's been rushed to the Situation Room here in the White House, so perhaps things are starting to happen in the Middle East.
Well, because it's all about cost of living over back home here. I filled up my motorcycle the other day. It cost me $50 to fill up a motorcycle of fuel. And I thought, that's when it really hit home. I thought, my God, fuel's just gone through the roof.
It's truth, yes, and going to go higher. I suspect, the analysts are saying that they could go as high as to $2.50 just for unleaded in Australia. Again, because of what's happening there in Iran, at the moment, Iran seems to be playing ball with OPEC, but won't for long. And the war in Ukraine has already pushed up world oil prices, and they spiked up to about $110 a barrel, and then went back down to the 70s and 80s, and now getting back up to 100. So I'm afraid we might be stuck with that for a while, Jonesy. You would be paying $50 to fill your fat boy up for a while.
Are there any implications for Australia for Anthony Albanese being there at the moment? Is it a good time for us to be there in terms of anything?
Look, to be frank, Amanda, I think it's a good time to be, seen at the highest level in America for an Australian Prime Minister at any time, because it's our most important relationship. Not just strategically, although it is incredibly important strategically. It's a massive market for Australia. The bilateral trade's tens of billions of dollars, and today there was an announcement of a $5 billion investment just half an hour ago that Microsoft is making in Australia in Sydney, Canberra and Melbourne, expanding its data centres, those massive data centres that it's got there. So it's going to build another 9 over the next 2 years, and it's also going to be involved in training up 300,000, sounds like a lot, but 300,000 young Australians into tech skills so they can enter this great new world of AI and cloud computing. So that's I guess another example of the rich relationship and how important it is for Australia to be here. For Anthony Albanese, the first time that he's been here as Prime Minister, been here many times as a minister before, of course, and has met Joe Biden 9 times. This is the ninth time they've been together in 17 months. So incredibly close relationship.
Oh, so Joe will actually remember Albo, you reckon?
Well, let's not push things too far. Does he remember what he had for breakfast?
How's Joe going?
What do you call Morrison? That other guy.
Thanks, pal.
Down under.
But when you see, because you're there, how do you feel Joe's going? What's your thoughts? Do you think like he's just too old? He's too old, isn't he?
Yeah, look, what are we measuring him against, though, Jonesy? Are we saying Trump, Biden?
Yeah.
So it's the one thing that just absolutely stuns me, mate, frankly, is that we're here in Washington at the moment. This is the seat of the biggest, the most powerful, developed democracy in the world, and the two contenders for that, for the president are Joe Biden and Donald Trump. I mean, really? But anyway, that's where you are at the moment. I can tell you, just reading the local papers in the day and a half that I've been here, he's getting rave reviews on his messaging on the Middle East. So Even, now, I mean, I hope you're sitting down, guys. Even Fox News gave him the pat on the back for his speech he's addressed to the nation last week. So that tells you something, right? Yeah. He must be doing something right. Yeah. But it ebbs and flows, and, they'll be on his case again pretty soon.
Well, Mark, it's always good to talk to you for all your news updates. Tune into Channel 7 from 6 tonight. Pretty boy Mark Ferguson is holding the desk, but Mark Riley's out there doing the grunt work. That's what I'm saying back here at home.
You keep telling people that, Jonesy. You keep telling people, mate. You'll laugh in the back of your fat boy.
Good on you, mate.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Take care.
See you guys.
Thank you.